Get Into Gate, this is episode 35. We are talking Touchstone, the full Get Into Gate team on board this week. As always, my name is Mitch. Joining me, Matty Gibson.
What's up?
Brendan Gibson.
Hello.
And Rhys Gibson.
Hi there.
If you are new to Get Into Gate, we are three Stargate veterans introducing a new viewer to the show, that being Rhys, watching each episode for the very first time, giving us a look through fresh eyes, while Matty, Brendan and I take a look back as some old school fans, and we're going to sit down and break down this episode. And if you are new to Gate, we're going to tell you why you should get into it, hence the name.
Is it too late to rename the show Get Into Gibson? I feel like that, could have a nice...
That's a separate channel.
Yeah, that's a request line.
That's my bio and grinder.
That must be where I saw it. Yeah, that's where it is.
All right, before we do ask our new viewer Rhys what he thought of the episode, let's go to the DVD and see what the 90s described this episode as. A powerful, climate-controlling touchstone is stolen from the planet Madrona, causing the weather to rapidly deteriorate. And when the SG-1 team is accused of the theft, O'Neill must pursue the real thief and rescue the missing stone before all of Madrona perishes.
I like it how they say a weather-changing touchstone. Like, that's a thing that you meant to know.
Yeah.
It's like looking at the touchstone, which is like a globe with circles around
I feel like
it.
you
I'm
can...
still going, nah, doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It's
Rhys,
an alien artifact, mate. Well, I did like it, but now that you say that...
1 star.
Yeah, no, I thought it was pretty cool. Obviously, the whole touchstone thing, how that's... the terraformed planet and the controlling the weather, that was pretty sweet. But yeah, the main thing I liked about it was just this whole second gate coming into it.
Finally get back into that.
Man, that was awesome, yeah. But yeah, just the possibilities of this second gate and the fact that it's not just the military that's in charge of it. Like, there's like government officials and shit like that.
Headed out to Area 51.
Yeah. Immediately, I'm just like, Kinsey.
Now, did you immediately assume that was what the solution of, when they were sitting there going, how else would it have been stolen by people wearing SGC clothes? Did you go second gate, or where were you thinking?
No, absolutely not. When they said, oh, were they wearing your uniform? I'm like, well, who could have done it? And then like
SG-11,
like O'Neill said, like coming back and he's like, General, like who else went out? Blah blah blah. And then the general got all fucking huffy and puffy about it.
He's like, nobody.
The first time I watched
stands
this,
near that thing.
you know what I was?
I
I was thinking SG-1 from Tin Man, were out the robots.
Oh, true.
That's the first thing I thought, and then was completely disappointed when it wasn't. It was just Mayborn or whoever it was.
Well, even the episode title is kind of a red herring, because it's not really about the touchstone. The touchstone is the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
But it's really about finding out that there's this, this sort of rogue faction that are going out and these with these unauthorized missions through the second gate, stealing tech.
Should have been called the Trust Stone.
Ooh. Why?
You'll find out.
Where
What the hell?
where were,
You should drink every time we say that to you.
Yeah. Where were these guys last week when Hammond needed somebody to go back and steal the key from Tanane?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe that was one of the reasons these two were sort of done back to back. Maybe it was sort of a little bit of a, because Jack does seem a little bit accusatory of Hammond. He's like,
Yeah, actually, that's what I was going to say, because
what's
I
going
hope...
on here?
Yeah, well, didn't Hammond accidentally run over that guy a few episodes ago? So understandable.
The way Hammond handled that, when Jack comes in and basically accuses him of doing it, of stealing the touchstone, the way he reacted to that was just all class.
Yeah.
Like, he basically vindicated himself and reassured Jack at the same time, and getting Carter to check the gate logs. And I was like, oh, bravo.
Yeah,
That whole...
right at the end of the scene, because
Yeah.
you're like, he could have just said, look, we didn't do it, and she walks out and just that, look, check him anyway.
Yeah.
It's all right, cool.
And he could have been
Yeah.
like, fuck you, Jack, you pice of shit, you're in lockup. Don't
Yeah.
accuse me.
And it was weird from
Full
Jack
rank
too,
on him.
because when they get to the planet and the locals accuse them of stealing it, they're like, well, we didn't. Well, of course you did. You're the only people that have been here and seen it and found out how it works. And it's like, well, if we stole it, why would we come back? And that, I think Teal'c,
Yeah.
Mister doesn't say anything, cracks out with like the most logical piece of dialogue in the whole episode. Yet then SG-1 go back to the SGC. Jack goes up to the Colonel and says, "You stole it. You found out about it, and you stole it." And he goes, "Why would I send you there?" if I stole it. Like, he used the exact same logic that SG-1 gave to disprove an SG-1 sort of conspiracy theory. It was strange, but...
Well, and it was interesting too. At the start of the episode, when they're sort of doing all the setting up for the episode, Carter says they were at that world 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's taken them 5 weeks to figure out, oh, maybe we should go back and have a look at that Touchstone. That looks like a
And it's
pretty cool
convenient
piece of
that
tech.
it was the day of that they actually go back. And
Yeah,
the
it seems to
Touchstone
be,
had been stolen.
like within the last
Wasn't that
24
day, though?
hours.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
say within 24 hours or so,
Yeah.
because the world hadn't sort of been completely stuffed up yet, but they
Yeah.
were sort of, they were still reacting pretty harshly to the Touchstone being stolen.
Well, I guess it would have taken time for them to go grab the second gate, set it up, organise what they're going to do.
Yeah, and
Because
obviously...
they wouldn't have known about it until SG-1 went through, wrote the reports.
Yeah, and then that got filtered down through the
Yeah.
line, and then obviously
but I
whoever
still
this shadow,
find
whoever this shadow group is, has to tie in and find out when they can. What do they call it? They're like bouncing off when there's a scheduled gate activation
Yeah,
when
that's
they
right.
can jump in. So yeah, well, I guess it would take them a week or two to sort of organise everything to
Work
be
it
able
out.
to
Yeah.
sneak over there.
But I just found the convenience that SG-1 returned so quickly after it was stolen.
It's a TV
Yeah.
show, mate. Like if it's
just
in the
a-
script,
God, I feel like
that's
I'm
how
in
it's
DC
done.
chat. Oh
We've
god.
already said that it's not just a TV show. Why do you keep saying that?
covered this.
Excuse me. In episode 14 of season 2,
Yes.
Yeah, actually, that would have been a really nice little addition, I think, if you were to find out that it was off the back of last week, where the SGC had a really precious item or mineral at their fingertips and through their own sort of, I guess, goodwill, chose not to bring it back. And then the powers that be behind the scenes have went, well, hang on, they can't be trusted to bring back the best. We need to fire up this bad boy. We've wanted to anyway, but this is the catalyst for actually getting shit done.
It's like, well, Jack used to be a Black Ops operative.
Yeah.
So it's like, it would make sense for the government to say, okay, well, we need a Black Ops SG team to do those unofficial things that,
Which is
Yeah, true.
so f***ing dangerous when you think about
Yeah.
all they've done is stolen one piece of technology, and they're at threat of destroying 2 planets, really.
yeah.
And to think they could go somewhere, start wars and new enemies and shit like that because they haven't got the historic build-up that the SGC has had over the last
It's like they
season and a
forgot
half.
that 6 months ago there were 2 alien ships in orbit ready to destroy us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of stuff SG-1 was doing officially. So it's like, oh, we'll just do it unofficially and piss people off. That's fine.
Yeah, but isn't that like obviously the US government obviously panicking a little bit because there has just about been an alien invasion, and SG-1 aren't bringing shit back
Yeah, well, it ties
to
back,
help them. So
ties
they're
back
like,
to
well,
politics. When
yeah.
Kinsey
So all
was
right,
like,
let's do something ourselves. We need something to happen. So let's just cut them out and use the second gate. Go get shit that will help us. I don't know how changing the weather will help you not get attacked by aliens,
Yeah.
but
oh no, there's a gold ship in orbit. Oh, we can just protect ourselves with clouds.
Yeah.
Make it rain. But yeah, that's my logic to it. Where they're like, well, the military aren't getting anything done. Let's just do it
So
ourselves.
let's do it unofficially.
Yeah.
and see if we can get some results.
I love it when Hammond goes, I'm going to try and get the president on the phone. And then he's talking, he's like, son, do you realize what color this phone is? And he's like, no, son, I'm not Batman. I'm General George Hammond.
Son, do you know what color this phone is?
That's when he said that. My girlfriend turned to me and goes, "What the hell is that supposed to mean?"
It used to be red, now it's slightly colored brown. I'm not going to go into it.
Okay, so these rogue agents, by the end of the episode, do we know, or do the SG-1 figure that they are part of the NID, or the NID and these rogue guys are separate sort of groups?
Well, it's interesting. So we meet Colonel, or is it Major Reynolds for the first time. He's the guy that
Welcome them onto
that welcomes them at Area 51.
And what a welcoming. Did you notice the direction in that scene? It was under a bridge.
Where they're all in
And
shadow.
it's just silhouette.
See,
Yeah.
I found that too, and I'm like,
Yeah.
because I was watching it on my laptop, and I'm like, is this
My
hang on,
contrast is
my colour's weird, but then I'm like, oh, okay, if I got there and I was going to shoot that scene, does that, you sit there and go, no, let's shoot it that way so that they are just silhouettes, and because it is very secretive and whatever, well, that would, I think that would serve better with, say, Hammond meeting Widlow later on. If they were silhouettes under a bridge, that would kind of be cool. But
Or
I
the
found that a
fact
really
that-
weird decision as well.
When we meet Reynolds, who is potentially going to be, the bad guy working from Area 51, he's all bright and airy, well lit. whereas SG-1 are all in shadow. And
Yeah.
it's just like, that really irked me when I saw that. I was like...
Because even when Mitch and
Till
I
had-
made short movies and it's nighttime, we just shine the car lights on. Like, that would have been enough to at least illuminate their faces.
Well, and I feel like Chris Judge was like, why the hell did I shop to work today? He didn't have a line in that scene.
yeah.
He didn't have a line until he gets inside.
Oh, yeah, and then what a line it was, because... what did he say?
Oh man. Yeah.
It's the line that launched his meme career, like Christopher Judge's career as a meme.
In my culture, I would be well within my rights to dismember you.
So good.
I'm
Which
going
is
to rip
basically-
your dick off.
And then I think after that, when they were or Tilk was referring to when the Touchstone came to Earth, and his exact line was, "But SG-2's point of origin was galaxies away from Madrona."
I grabbed that too. I was
Going-
like, oh, because who wrote this? Sam Egan. And I
Is
was
that
like,
just
ooh.
Tilk not understanding his space? Or-
I think that's the writer not understanding the
Yeah.
show.
I think so. It
But SG-2's point of origin was galaxies away from Madrona.
doesn't make sense.
Wouldn't they
Especially
pick him
given-
up on? Wouldn't they? Someone surely would.
Well, that's
pick
what
that
I mean.
up.
I think
We
for
did.
the first couple of seasons, this show, even though they had, Brad Wright and Jonathan Glasner, I don't think they were as involved and established.
Well, who's the
like they
story
did.
editor? Probably should have picked it up.
Well, the writer, Sam Egan, I don't think I've read that name before.
No,
reading
I
out
don't think so either.
It's a first timer, yeah. But you're right, like the continuity editor of the entire series, who we have issues with sometimes.
Especially given what happens.
What's the difference between a solar system and a galaxy? Man, nothing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not much.
Especially given what such big plot point happens in, well, depending how we do it, one or two episodes time
Yeah.
about galaxies. So it's just like, it grabbed
Yeah.
me the wrong way, and I was just like,
Yeah,
oh,
it just fell.
That's not right. That's
Just
not
slipped
right.
between the fingers, that one.
Yeah.
I did like the world building of this episode, where you are introduced to this Area 51, but it's now dedicated to studying what's brought back through the gate. So we've been wondering too, like, well, a lot of the research has been done by like 3 people in the SGC, and it's like, really, they're the only ones studying this mineral that we've brought back, this possible medicine, and even this guy coming, walking them through. What'd you say his name was?
Reynolds.
Yeah, Reynolds, and he's walking them through and talking about stuff that we haven't even heard of before.
To your left is medical research. They're focusing on the potential new cure for Alzheimer's that SG-5 brought back. The other side is geology, space metallurgy, and artifact study. That's where they're poring over your notes on that Heliopolis place, Dr. Jackson. Meaning of life stuff. I love that.
I love that.
I forgot it was called Heliopolis.
Yeah.
Completely.
That's where we're studying those 2 Gould death bladders that you were in
Told me
after you guys
Talos.
did your hero thing. Nice work, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
Just save the planet, no big deal.
No big deal.
But that was really cool. It's like, they
So
are
SG5 are bringing shit back.
Yeah.
Cure
Yeah.
Alzheimer's.
They're curing
Yeah.
brain disease. It's fine. What are you guys doing? Oh, Jackson's screwing some other alien. That's fine. Yeah, okay.
No
Again.
mention of that plant from Emancipation that was doing anything.
Yeah, no.
No interviews with Oprah on the way from, curing disease.
Sir, which world are we going to have our Christmas party at this year?
Hey,
That's good.
that's good.
In the,
What is it?
Well, clearly you're going
well,
back
I'm
to
keen
that.
for some pizza cake.
Yeah. Some pizza cake and belly dancing.
I'm taking annual leave. I'm
Yeah.
going straight to that planet, man.
Didn't Jack say in politics, he's like, I may retire there one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, true.
He's like, he wants pizza cake and belly dances all night long.
He might have said that in politics. I wasn't paying attention.
And also, it felt like a real mission episode to me. Even though most of it was on Earth, it had a real pace to it, where they had to get to one thing to go to another, and had to research this to lead to point B and all this other stuff. Like, I know they do that in every episode, that they're on a mission, or they're on a mission and they find out something on the alien world that puts them on the actual story of the episode. But this just felt like they had one thing to do, and it was a real, detective sort of path to get there. And I really liked that. Even though most of it was on Earth, it felt like a real... Not even globe spanning. It did feel like they travelled a lot, even though they went to like 3 different states in America. I really like that about
And they
it.
do start to do this. I think it's probably the first one, aside from my beloved politics, where it's very much Earth-based, and we can actually have Stargate and alien-related storylines without necessarily having to go off-world. It's got so many repercussions now within, the American military and Earth in general. We start to see more and more of those as the seasons progress.
Which I don't particularly like that much, or just the way they're done. I wish they were done more like this. Because for me, I was like, oh, Earth episode, boring. But then this, we're actually kind of going back and forth.
Yeah.
And I particularly enjoy the line where Hammond says, "We're sending people halfway across the galaxy to find something lost in our own backyard."
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's so cool.
That's awesome.
I love that.
It's a bit like,
very
when
cool.
you lose a mobile phone in the house, it's on silent. Like my wife lost her phone yesterday.
Yeah.
I use my phone to call it. So I'm using my phone
Yeah.
to call a f***ing satellite in space to call her phone that's literally 8 feet away from me.
Now, I did potentially spot a plot hole in that theory, given that it was kind of established when that gate was down in Antarctica. They used seismology because they knew the time of day that had been dialed, blah, blah, blah. So they were able to use like the quakiness to pinpoint the exact location.
Yeah.
But they couldn't do that in Utah. They had, Hammond had... I feel like it was purely... They ignored that bit of sort of canon so that it would give Hammond a chance to go and have his little talk with... what was his name?
Whitlow.
Off base.
Whitlow.
Yeah, he's a bit like he looked a little bit like the smoking man from the X-Files. Like he had such an aura of mystery around him. Said he's got his fingers in a lot of secret government pies and things, and he knows everything, every agency that's out there. He knows what's going on. But still, he owed Hammond a favour.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, that's kind of
Hammond's-
cool.
He's naughty. I ran over that guy for you. Now you owe me.
What I didn't get was when they went to that hangar on that, it was like a massive covert mission. Like that place would have been guarded pretty well, and they brought Jackson.
Yes, yeah.
And even Tilk, like he wouldn't have been trained like a covert.
Well,
Yeah.
and here's
The
the interesting
SG-1,
thing
mate.
to me is I assume there weren't many guards around because whoever was this
Yeah,
shadow group
okay.
didn't have many guards or anything like that.
Yeah.
But there was a whole point earlier on that was supposed to be sort of big thing where Hammond says you can't kill these men, you can't shoot them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Teal'c walks in with a Zat gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So clearly Hammond's okay with him carrying a Zat on Earth.
Yeah.
Why didn't the entire team just have Zats? If
Absolutely.
they had Zats instead of
Yeah,
their
that's
guns,
right.
They would have got him.
they could have shot all 4 of them.
Yeah.
Mission
Now,
complete.
This,
Yeah.
me, obviously, I've watched all these episodes, but not for like 10 years. And this isn't so much of a spoiler to Rhys, because I figure it wouldn't be that much of a surprise to you, knowing we've just asked that question in, episode 14 of season 2. Do they get to a point where they carry Zats a little bit more regularly, yeah?
Yeah, they actually
Yeah.
have specialized holsters where instead of their sidearms, like Carter is always carrying a Zat instead of
Yeah.
a normal sort of
Yeah,
like.
And
Beretta-
that makes
Beretta
so much
sidearm.
sense. Like a completely different show, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is obviously a spin-off of the Marvel Universe. You watch S.H.I.E.L.D. in the movies, they're carrying guns with lead bullets. They're putting people down. In the show, week to week, and you're on the ABC network in America, it's like a PG-13 or an M rating here. They can't be just killing 8 guys a week. There'll
Well,
be
if
teams
they
that-
did, it'd be an awesome show.
But instead of using
I'd watch it.
they're using
Thrones.
what they call ICEs,
Yeah.
which, whatever
Look
they
like exactly like guns.
Yeah.
But they just make a different sound when they fire.
Yeah, and they
so
still
it
put you
reminds
down. They put you unconscious, whatever it does. That's what that makes so much more sense
Yeah.
in this show. They've got this alien tech that they're out there, and then they need to be lethal, in a lot of different circumstances. But in that particular moment where they're standing there at the end of the
Yeah.
episode against 3 and then eventually 4 guys, they should have all been carrying. Now, not only that, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Jackson being there for one, like you said, who said that? Yeah. Rhys, that it was so strange, and 2, that he's wearing his floppy hat on this black.
If there was a time for the do-rag, it was now.
His very first
they showed-
special ops mission.
Yeah,
Everyone.
I want a do-rag with like black commando makeup and Predator.
Like Jack, he looked old school. Still had his cap on, but he looked like old school Black Ops Jack O'Neill
Yeah.
would have.
He had it
Then
on back when he was using his little eyeglass thing.
You had
He's in his element.
you had Teal'c, and he's there going, good, I'm on an Earth-based mission, Black Ops sort of
Yeah,
style.
so no staff. He's got the Zat instead.
Yeah.
Carter, she's had training, never really done this sort of thing before, but either way, she's done her training. Jackson's sitting there, and he's got that floppy hat. He's got the string really tied up under his chin. I'm like, you look like you should honestly be out there teaching kids about different worms in the garden or something right now. Okay, you should be on a
Like
kids' TV show,
A community garden program.
Yeah, but
This
then
is
they
how
go.
you make a compost.
They go inside, and they're holding
Daniel's
guns.
backyard.
Hello, children. I'm Daniel. They're pointing guns at these rogue NID guys or whatever they are, and Teal'c's pointing his at. And then as they sort of swept across, as O'Neill left sort of the line and walked through, had a look at the gate, then heard the DHD going off, you could see Daniel in the background. He's holding his gun down. He's not even pointing a gun. So obviously he's not the violent one of the group, but even in that circumstance. There's a second gate being used.
Yeah.
These guys have stolen it. We don't even know who they are, who they work for, not even a body of the military. And he's like, no, I'm not pointing my gun at you guys.
And then when they do get into a firefight, there's bullets ricocheting everywhere.
Yeah.
Pretty sure not one Zat blast. What the hell's Teal'c doing?
Yeah.
Well, they were ordered not to shoot at any circumstance.
And
But they were firing us. Like Jack fires and going, don't do it.
I know.
He's doing that thing that he does, where he holds it sort of at, like above eye line, above
Yeah.
headline, and just like waves around in a circle.
Yeah.
And this thing is hitting everything but a body.
Yeah.
Like it's standing there. It's hitting the box. It's hitting
Yeah.
the concrete. It's even hitting, I think.
I'm going to not use my sights, which means I'm not going to hit you because I have no control of where the bullets are going.
This guy's there doing the bloody chicken dance over the
Yeah.
thing. But that was such a cool effect. I'm
Yeah.
sure you love that too, Rhys. Like a Stargate opening, sort of from the ground, great
Yeah.
vertical.
Yeah.
And then
but
he's doing these swan dives.
Swan diving
Yeah,
into that
straight
looks
into it.
so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, who
That's
knows how
awesome.
they're landing when they get to the other side?
Yeah.
They end up upside down.
And it's
Yeah.
like the last time we saw a gate like that.
Wouldn't that be so good?
The last time we saw a
just
gate like
Flying out upside down.
Post credits. I want to see that post credits.
Whee! Just comes through the gate like Jesus. Just
Yeah.
whee!
Upside down lands in his
But the
head.
last time we saw a gate flat like that being activated was First Commandment. And like, to
Yeah.
me, this is just so much cooler the
Oh
way
my
they're
God,
actually,
Jump.
The only
jumping
thing
through.
I had to deal with was the kawoosh.
Mm.
Seemed to it obviously broke the box, but the box circle was almost the entire
Yeah, it broke way
diameter
more
of the
Yeah.
event
than it
horizon.
would. And
Yeah,
did
well, it would have
anyone-
burnt up a bit.
Wow.
Did anyone notice one of the rogue guys? The first one you see is the shot pans across with a hat on. He looks like Michael Rosenbaum, the guy who plays
Yeah.
Lex Luthor in
Yeah, I did
Smallville.
notice that.
And I can't tell if it's him or not
Yeah,
because there are some
I don't
actors
think it
from
is.
that show stuff that appear later on very, very young.
Yeah.
So I was just like, even the guy from Glee is in like a season 5 episode
Yeah. Right.
and really super young, and I'm just like, oh my god, is it? But they're not credited even as like extras or anything like
Yeah.
that, so I've got
Yeah.
no idea. But I was just like, oh man, that looks like Michael Rosenbaum.
But that's what got me intrigued was that when he punched the address into the DHD, like obviously he knew where he was going. They've been there before.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, these guys have got an off-world base as well.
Yeah.
Like, because when he goes through there, obviously SG-1 have got control of that second gate now. Like, where are they going to go? They can't come
it's
back.
Not like they
Yeah.
can gate and then gate back.
Yeah.
They're definitely off world.
So they've got something off with that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that, yes, that's awesome.
Well, expanding on that, what do we think of Mayborn? Because
We hate him.
but there's that moment when they realise that that's a fake gate in that thing.
Yeah.
Mayborn seems
Yeah.
He pretends. that-
genuinely
Oh, he was great in that
confused.
scene.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he knew or that was all an act for Jack's benefit because he seemed genuinely afraid and concerned about it.
yeah.
He did, but then
So-
come the end of the scene,
Yeah.
it was either that or he saw opportunity and was able to roll with it. And I don't know, and I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
full credit to the actor who I don't know that plays Mayborn. That was such a well done
I
scene.
blanked on his
Because
name.
me, like I said, I haven't seen this episode in 10 or 15 years.
Mm.
I actually believed him when they go, it's plastic, and he walked away going, shit.
Yeah.
Because this is the no.
Yeah.
And
This
they-
is the one that came back. It's never been open. This whole facility's never been open. That's the gate. And I believed him, but I thought, okay, come the under the end of the episode, he's going to
Yeah.
say, "Oh, well, that's something I need to get
Well, and
involved
they-
in."
and
But
they-
I
they-
think that he always knew.
They do set up a couple of scenes beforehand when Hammond is with them at SGC and to sending there. He tells him, "Oh, guess who's just been reassigned as the new commander of Area 51?
Yeah.
Mayborn." So Mayborn really has only been there maybe a week or something like that.
Yeah, true.
So you really don't know. Has he managed to do that in a week, or was that gate taken away before him, before he got there? And is his fear the fact that he's been out of the loop? Maybe he knew that was coming, but he's out of the loop, and he's worried that he's not as high up in whatever this shady organisation is that he thought. Because
No, I
they
reckon
didn't
he's-
tell him they moved the gates.
He's in on it because otherwise they wouldn't put him in charge of it
But why would
I
they put
reckon.
him there if the
But
gate's
it's a rogue.
not even there?
It's a rogue.
to keep it more so they can have someone there that they can trust.
I guess. But yeah, I guess it was just the phenomenal performance that he gave that I
Yeah.
just really didn't
Yeah.
know.
It was really good.
Didn't know
was good.
what angles he was
Quite
playing.
convincing.
I'm like, well, if that plastic one's been there since the start, then
Yeah.
where's the
Maybe
the real one?
Maybe that's why Carter couldn't dull out in Antarctica.
It's plastic.
the whole
Plastic.
time.
Well, I think in behind the scenes, that's actually the gate from the gate room because the real gate, like in the SGC, is made from like fiberglass. So that's the actual sound it makes when you knock on it. So I'm pretty sure that's the actual gate that they normally would take out on location that's just made out of plastic that they were able to then knock and actually, it is plastic.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Now, the NID, the only time that I feel like we've ever had them mentioned, and correct me if I'm wrong because I probably am, was it Enigma when the Tolan came and then Mayborn sort of showed up?
Did they
mention them
Did
as
they
well?
say NID in that though?
In Bane?
Yeah.
I feel like they're definitely
Not a real
giving...
department.
Well, yeah. We find out. I think Peter DeLuise in an audio commentary says originally they were going to name that department NRD, which stood for not a real department because they just sort of made it up. Yeah. But I feel like it stands for like the National Intelligence Department or Division or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just figured that the mention of it in the past was so like, oh, Mayborn, he's in charge of the new NID now that we're something about the Stargate. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. But then in this episode, when Reynolds says, hey, I'm from the NID, it's like, oh, are we supposed to know what that is? Like, I feel like there's some information that we should have got, sort of post-Enigma, pre-Touchstone, but...
Scene was cut.
Yeah, it's
anyway,
sort of, I guess...
not a big deal.
You've really got to analyse this episode to go, okay, so it implies that in the same way, well, SGC to us makes sense. That's just a made-up acronym for Stargate Command. So I guess NID is kind of like the research division, connected to the SGC because obviously they get all their alien tech they bring back. But I feel like, we just needed a scene that explains the NID and how it was formed, who it was formed by, because obviously Mayborn does hint at the fact that it's not completely military run, it's sort of civilian, politically run.
Yeah,
So you kind of go, okay, well, maybe Kinsey, after he got booted out at the end of season 1, he's gone back and he's started, consolidating power because he was the man holding the purse strings to the SGC in politics. So it's like, well, maybe he's said, okay, well, we need another branch that's a little more, government run rather than military run to...
I think that's why I fall asleep in the Earth episodes because it's all political. I'm like,
no, see, I love that sort of stuff.
Boring.
I think by sort of season 7, season 8, there are some Earthbound episodes where you're just like, nah. But this is one of my favorite. This and is it Shades of Grey, which is almost like Touchstone Part 2. That's another one of my real favorites of the Earthbound episodes.
Just going back to when they were trying to find the second gate after Hammond did his dodgy shit, they did something with the map. They sent it. They went back to Madrona, and it is a shitstorm. I'm just going. If you're going to do basically a science experiment for the first time, wouldn't you want to go somewhere it's a little bit more calm?
We
don't have to go
where
there.
thermal layers and just a blizzard.
Yeah.
They didn't have to go there, huh?
Yeah,
at all.
It was just one of those writing points, I guess, to keep
them in
the ticking clock of
you
that
guys might
planet.
as well give them an update while you're there.
Yeah, it's like to keep that ticking clock going.
Oh, I started getting so sick of that. Uncle, when he comes out, he's like, where is the Touchstone? It's like, no, we're working on it. This is what we're going to do to try and track it down. You're lying! And I'm like, why the f*** do they keep coming back then, you dickhead?
You're in a snowstorm with no shirt on. Get inside.
Yeah, you idiot. But I think Brendan might be the only one that gets this reference, but that actor comes back in season 9 to play Moros/Mirden.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and then
far out, he lasted a long time.
Yeah, you wouldn't think he'd last that long in real life.
Yeah, as soon as you said that.
And then the chick who plays his niece, the hot little princess in the bikini, she actually comes back in season 7's revisions.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
She's got the little short sort of black curly hair in this one.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So they definitely reuse a couple of decent actors.
I tell you, like talking about Mayborn, I'm watching Travelers, which is Brad Wright's new series.
Yeah. Netflix, yeah?
Yeah, it is. It's on Netflix at the moment, and then they bring back all the Stargate actors.
Yeah, nice.
And I'm just like, oh, and he's in it.
Walter?
Like, not yet, because then it'll be my new favorite show. But Tara Rothery's in it. Doc Fraser.
Nice.
Oh, that's the other thing I noticed too. Basically, the DHD's in the gate at the end. Oh, sorry, in the truck at the end. So it's always buried in the earth somewhere. So I always thought it was connected, but obviously it's wireless.
Bluetooth.
They have
mate.
wires running from it.
No,
Or am I just imagining things?
no, it's on
Bluetooth.
Wi-Fi.
Bluetooth.
Yeah, Bluetooth.
Red, what was that other one? Red. The old
Infrared.
one? Infrared.
Infrared.
Oh,
yeah,
old
as long as-
school.
line of sight. As long as you got line
Yeah.
of sight, you're also.
But that's
my Game Boy used to have that infrared when you went to trade Pokemon. when they finally got rid of the cable, you had to hold it right next
verse
to the
someone,
infrared. And
Remember the innovation when shit like that came when we were kids in high school? Like,
I remember when the answer machine come out. Oh my god!
You
I had
could
to break
point your
down-
phone at each other and send messages.
oh
or
my
something.
god. Or,
Tamagotchis.
yeah.
Digimons. Battle of the Digimons.
I was at the hospital the other day, and there's this old guy, and he's still rocking. He's got like the Nokia in the leather case clipped to his belt
Oh, nice.
God.
with the Bluetooth earpiece.
Oh no.
He's walking around hospital with it and just sitting in visiting some patients, visiting some people.
He's a time traveler, mate.
Yeah.
No one uses that
Hey,
shit anymore.
From the future.
Headphones are back in, bro. Wear earphones.
Now, I did have a couple of bits of trivia for this episode that I thought you guys might get a kick out of. We spoke about it in Secrets, about how that was Shanks' actual baby in the belly.
Yeah.
She gave birth while this episode was being filmed.
Right.
Yeah, the actress
Oh,
actually
right.
gave birth to Daniel's baby
Oh, across the
While this-
universe.
while this episode was being filmed, which explains why he's not really in much of next week's episode.
I have
Right.
I have that written down. I have watched ahead, and I have that written down. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously that was, he brand new baby at home.
Oh,
So we
little
got the
lamb.
Shanksy.
little rosemary lamb shank.
That'll do us.
No, her name's actually Tatiana. And the other bit, now this is maybe canon, maybe not. You still like it?
Good. I'm like, that's legit. Like a Rosemary Shanks. Oh, what's your middle name? Lamb. Oh, Rosemary Lamb Shanks.
You bite into rosemary lamb shanks, you go, my tooth.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that name is delicious.
So there is another one now. It's not 100% canon or not, but apparently there's like a role-playing game. They're like a Dungeons and Dragons style game of SG-1. Like you can play it and all that sort of stuff. And in one of the the instruction booklets for it, it heavily hints at the fact that the Touchstone is actually furling technology, and this planet was actually terraformed by the Furlings, who we'll talk about in another couple of weeks' time.
Haven't met them.
Haven't met them. So yeah, I was that was the first time I'd ever heard that, because it's not a race we kind of really get to see.
I'm just imagining like heaps of Furbies.
Yeah.
Not far off, like
Until episode 200, that's when we get
yeah,
to finally see them.
like a koala Ewok.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
Something
thinking.
something cuddly.
terraform your planet.
It's like, was it the episode of The Simpsons where they do the Furby knockoff that then turns into a robot and
Yeah.
kills everything?
Like we've said before in this show that with SG-1 worked closely with the Air Force, and apparently in Cheyenne Mountain there is actually a broom closet which is labelled Stargate Command.
Oh, really?
I'm like, oh, kill me now. So good.
So it's obviously just a door
Yeah, just a door.
that says Stargate Command. You go, oh yeah, I go in it, and it's
Yeah.
a broom cupboard.
Brilliant.
in the real Cheyenne Mountain.
That's in NORAD, I guess.
In
Right.
NORAD, yeah.
Because I guess, NORAD still exists in this universe. It's like the first 20 levels.
Yeah.
And then the bottom sort of 20 levels is Stargate Command, sort of hidden under NORAD. So that's fun.
So it's his.
So Cheyenne Mountain's a legit Air Force base.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's where the real life
There you go.
NORAD is. So
Yeah.
remember how
Right.
Carter's cover to her dad was that she's doing deep space
Oh,
telescope.
yeah.
Well, that's NORAD. NORAD is like a deep space telescope.
Right.
And that's where all the info is sort of is for it under the
Yeah.
under the mountain.
nice.
So that's why that's Sam's cover, is that she works for NORAD in the top 20 levels, but the bottom 20 levels is where she really works.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
that's fun.
Hey?
It's time for that. What's that time?
Oh, it's time to find out if Rhys has been paying attention.
5 questions, 30 seconds on the clock. Your time will start at the end of the first question. Name the planet where the Touchstone came from.
Madrona.
Very good. In Touchstone, where is the conflict between Stargate Command, which government agency is the conflict between SG?
NID.
Correct. What was the technical term O'Neill used to describe Carter's weather equipment?
Pass.
At the end of Touchstone, what happened to the second gate?
At the end, what happened to it?
Yeah, what did they do with it?
No idea.
What was the name of the slimy dipshit colonel in Touchstone?
Meborn.
Good. You're learning.
Give you one after.
What happened to the second gate?
They welded an iris onto it.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah,
Put
now I
into
remember.
And and Hammond's like, it'll be under my command now.
Yeah.
And the technical word O'Neill used to describe Carter's weather equipment was doohickeys.
doohickeys.
Yeah, definitely would have got that. It's a good question.
Your father made you wrong!
Good delivery on question 2 as well.
Like it's
Sorry.
it's fucking Stargate trivia,
Yeah.
and the answer is doohickey. Like, yeah, man.
I just misread it. That's all it was.
Yeah, and you wasted
Yeah.
like 10 seconds for me.
Yeah. Super
turn
good
it
song.
You're shit, mate.
If you-
Your father made you wrong.
If you'd like to submit some well-written questions, feel free.
All right, well, that's episode 36 of Get Into Geek. Talking Touchstone, it's, I think, the start of 3 very good weeks from memory. So I have watched ahead to next week. Or at least I think so, because do we talk about this
which
now?
one
I
are we
guess, 'cause
doing
We've got to
next
worry
week?
about which one we're doing,
Well-
because...
So what's the confusion?
Well, as per like our DVDs, the Australian release DVDs that we're
Yeah.
watching, the next episode should be A Matter of Time. But I think in the US, very similar to the change rounds that were back when we were before the Toker and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that. The next episode, I think, for American and maybe Canadian release is The Fifth Race. I mean,
Which
I'm all
is-
for getting to the fifth race as soon as possible, but
Which in the stream, when we're watching it on the streaming service, that's the next episode. It's
Right.
the 5th race.
And okay, I'm watching it off the old school DVDs, which I'll admit, not many people that are listening to us are probably going to be watching it off the Australian-made DVDs. But it says episode 15, A Matter of Time, and then I go to IMDb.
and it says
The
episode
5th
16.
race. Yeah, so the 5th race premiered a week ahead of A Matter of Time. But then I go to stargate.wikia.com, which I figured is, edited and created by absolute freaky nerds of Stargate, and they credit A Matter of Time as being the next episode. So,
I've got.
do we do a popular vote?
Well, yeah, I want to do 5th race.
Well, I'm happy. I want to do Matter of Time, but I don't care. But only because I've got it on my next page.
Yes, so do I. I wrote 2 pages of notes for A Matter of Time.
like I said, I'm happy to get to the 5th race as soon as possible.
The way we've done it is what the streaming service had.
Well, fuck the streaming service. We got the DVDs, mate, from '98.
But again, the Tokra Part 1 and 2 were out of sync.
Yes.
But they weren't. They were numbered correctly.
They were numbered correctly.
All right,
And
we
the
can
D-
argue off air, and
Hey,
we'll
look,
come back.
call me crazy, all right? I'm going to put up we have a lot of people contacting us through Twitter each and every week off the back of episodes. I'm going to put up a voting poll,
Hey, that's a good idea.
right?
Yeah.
A Matter of Time or the 5th race.
You can only vote once, right? Because
Yeah.
I can just imagine Brennan and Maddie just
Matty,
voting war.
Matty doesn't understand Twitter.
Well, guess who's going to win then?
I feel like of the 2 episodes, the 5th race is a stronger episode, so I feel like that should get more votes based on episode quality.
I just wanted to do aired time. So if we have when did it air first? Which episode?
Well,
aired
that's
first?
the thing.
We
So
don't know.
We've got
we
two
don't know
different
because
dates.
I've got 2 different dates,
Yeah.
2 different
Yeah.
months.
It depends
even,
where you
and out
live.
of order.
That's where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
okay, look, I'm going to put it up on our Twitter page at Get Into Gate, and it'll just have the 2 options.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 just to screw us around. And you can pick A Matter of Time or the 5th race. It's up to you. We'll give you until maybe Thursday. It is
well, we-
Stargate Sundays.
we
We'll give you
might
until
even-
Thursday. Give us enough time to come back in and record next week's episode.
We might even add it to the next 2 episodes as well, because on our DVD order, we've got Serpent's Song as being episode 17, and then Holiday is episode 18. But that's on our DVDs. But then the other, probably on your streaming services, you guys will have Holiday first, and then Serpent's Song.
No, it's Serpent Songs.
We'll do the DVDs then.
I don't know. Phases.
I don't know phases.
Well,
I feel like we're complicating things, but I like the
Yeah.
idea of a
So
poll.
Yeah, let's do a poll.
Don't give a shit. Like,
No.
Yes, they do. Mate, they do.
it'd be different if it was like part 2 first and then do part 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that is episode 36, Touchstone. Please jump on our Twitter page at Get Into Gates and let us know which one you would like to hear next, the 5th race or A Matter of Time. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram as well. If you do want to drop us a line, like Maddie said, via the emails, getintogate@gmail.com, or you can get all of our podcasts if you are new to Get Into Gate on Soundcloud and iTunes. Every single one of our episodes up there to download and binge, as some of our listeners have been doing in recent weeks, and we do thank you for it.
Hell
now,
yeah.
you can find myself individually, Mitch_Lewis on Twitter and Instagram. Maddie,
At HighPitchMatty on Instagram.
Brendan,
At the Brendan Gibson on Instagram.
And I am at the Flying Gibson. And send us your letters into the mailbag.
Yeah,
That's my big hairy mouse.
just get a handful of our mailbag and...
despite how Brendan just described it, please do send them in.
GetIntoGeek.com.